Welcome back. Mr. Adini Ifetayo joins us virtually. Mr. Ifetayo, thank you so much for coming on the program. New Telegraph is how I want to kick things off. And it starts with the TUC threatening mass action, that is strike, rejects the 5% fuel tax. I'm happy we're going to have Mr. Oyedele to answer all of the questions. But the writers are, while FG moves to avert nationwide strike as Congress, others set to join Nupeng's action. Pengasan threatens shutdown of Dangote refinery as Dapman calls for dialogue, collaboration among stakeholders. Mr. Fatayo, are these gloomy days ahead of us?
Yes, like they said that where two elephant fight is only the grass that suffers, So I've just pleading to both parties that they should tread with caution. So coming to TUC, because of the 5% fuel increase from I think January next year, I don't think government is doing us any good. When the people are seeing what will I say, the investment, the infrastructure, the human capacity, what you are using our tax or whatever it is for, they'll be happy to pay tax, just like here in London now or UK, everybody are happy to pay that because they see what government is using the fund for. But now we are just battling increase, increasing whatever it is, food commodity, transportation, and now you are coming again. And our economy or way of life, should I say, is fuel dependent. What do I mean by that? A bread seller will tell you that before I could go and get my bread in the bakery, they've increased the cost of flour, they've increased the cost of the Okada rider or transportation, whatever it is. So it affects or it snowballs to every part of our life. I think it's too early for government to be saying that come and pay 5% increase. Why they should be subsidizing some of the things that makes life meaningful for the citizen. And for the strike, please let them stress carefully. I believe in dialogue. Look at the pros, look at the cons, and see how we can come at the middle so that we can move ahead. We don't need the strike now because it's going to affect a lot of businesses. It's going to affect a lot of individuals who earn their daily living. If they don't go to work every day, if they don't make sales every day, they don't know how to take care of their family. So all those things should be put into consideration, and let us cut ourselves some slacks.
Mr. Federer, let's take a look at the Nigerian News Direct. It leads, of course, with this same big story as well. FG sues for peace in Dangote and Nupeng dispute. There are other writers there. Let's see if we can take some of them now. It says, we will vie for 2027 elections without Obi. That's coming from the Labour Party spokesman. Lagos pays 1.52 billion naira pension to 798 retirees. El-Rufai is also in the news. Says El-Rufai accuses Kaduna Police Commissioner of complicity in August attack. So, well, I know that you've mentioned this. We don't need this strike at this time. We're battling inflation, double digits numbers at this time. Maybe we should talk politics a bit because we can see that as well play out in other papers this morning. The Labour Party spokesperson is saying that we will vie for 2027 elections without Peter Obi. I wonder what you make of this assessment, because it looks like you cannot separate Peter Obi from Labour Party. He perhaps made the party maybe more popular. Do you agree?
Yes, yes, of course. What they were trying to say, there have been some light when he said that Peter Obi has said that he's ready to join anything that will remove this present administration, of course, legally, maybe via election. And ADC, they are gaining momentum, and even the call for him to join PDP since they've zoned their presidential ticket to the south. Maybe he might come back, the call for Willow Jonathan to come and all of that. So, but what they are saying, whether he wants to join them or not, they will still vie for, at least as a political party, they must have a standard bearer, unless they say that, and we don't know 24 hours before the election, that's where you will hear, or 48 hours, some party will say we have come together. We see that this party, their agendas align with us. So we want to root for these candidates. You know, is a thing that is common when it comes to our own election. But I think as a party who's gaining momentum, I'm sure other people want to vie for some position under Labour Party. Of course, and if it is about ideology, I think moving from one party to the other, most of our politicians, they don't have that ideology. Just in America, if you're a Democrat or you are Republican or the other one, so you are there for life. But here, if it's where it favors most of the politicians, that's where they switch their allegiance to. But he was just saying that whether Peter Obi will stay with us or not, based on what is going on, we still have, we still vie for election. And of course, for the strike, just like we said, we don't need that now because it will be adding insult to injury that Nigerians are already going through.
A lot of pressure. As far as the polity is concerned, and it's quite heavy on a lot of citizens as we speak. But let's, before we move away from Nigerian News Direct, I don't know what played out yesterday at the event where I understand the Honorable Speaker Abbas Tajuddin was represented, I think, by one of his lawmakers in the House, or one of the lawmakers in the House, about the ballooning or the debt ceiling or the debt size of our debt profile of our country. I think our debt profile ranges around 140 trillion or so. I know that the president had said the other day that they met the non-oil sector revenue target. So the budget size is about 55 trillion. Let's approximate it to 55 trillion. I think the deficit is about 13 to 15 trillion. And then the revenue that was meant to be generated to when you now bring out the deficit, the revenue was about 36 trillion, so the deficit is the balance. So out of the 36 trillion, the non-oil sector accounted for an amount, I think about 15 or so trillion, and then the oil sector amounted to, of course, the bigger amount. But he said by August this year, that non-oil sector revenue has already been met, and so there was no need to start borrowing from local banks. Crowding out effects is what is called, so that local companies, private sector can now have opportunity to borrow more rather than being crowded out by public sector borrowing. So with all of this touting, there was an event, I understand the speaker was represented, and the headline on the Nigerian News Direct said, Nigeria's debt breaches statutory ceiling, poses structural crisis. But I know that, I don't know whether to call it a rejoinder or a damage control. He re-emphasized it on his own personal page, and then, spoke about the fact that the president is working assiduously to make sure that that is reversed. What do you think he's playing out here?
They said, Yoruba will say X is a word. I mean, once it drop on the ground, it will be very difficult for you to pull it together. But I would just say a kind of damage control, or since he has come to say that was not what it meant, that he was trying to say, yes, if you borrow and you invest it and it makes life meaningful, we have seen the result in infrastructure, in this and that. But a case when some of our some state government, even federal government borrow that you cannot even account or the infrastructure on ground or what the money was meant for, you can't even account for up to 50%. So because some of those money ended up in some private pockets, some individual who are cabal, so to say. So it calls for action. But of course, if you are borrowing and you are having a means to pay back, the even international community, they look at you that, okay, you are running an healthy economy. But he has said it, for him to say that a man at his caliber, he has so much information at his hand. But since he has come out to say, okay, this present administration, they are doing their best. When you look at it in this infrastructure, of course, he who pays the piper will definitely dictate the tune. If he's coming, he's getting the support, like somebody lambasted him, but you are the one who approved some of these borrowing, as in they brought them to, you approved our budget, and so to say, you pass them into law and all of that. So, but what we want to appeal to our leaders, especially political leaders, is that whatever money or loan is being taken, please let them use it for what it's meant for. We want to have more infrastructure. When things work, people will not complain about borrowing. But when you say you borrow trillions of naira, and there's no commensurate infrastructure on ground to justify it, then it begin to call for questioning. And lastly, I may say on this, when it comes to borrowing, I think we need all those anti-graft agencies to be carried along, and government should be transparent. Oh, we have borrowed 20 naira, we have released 10 naira to this company to build this road, we have released 5 naira, to that company to do this infrastructure, so that those people can know what they are putting on ground. Is it commensurate to what the government has given them? So those are the things that we should look at.
The Vanguard newspapers begin to wind down. Vanguard is leading with politics. 2027, Jonathan's camp, PDP top shots, wooing Peter Obi. Ex-president, only southerner that can beat Tinubu. So the game is on. Whilst some members of the Labour Party are trying to kick him out, others are trying to drag him in. So it's a different kettle of fish for different sets of people. And now it's beginning to look like there's a bit of a rallying across the political parties, even though their internal issues are there. We already know Tinubu, I doubt if he will not run, but it's as good as God, because he's been endorsed by his party to run for a second term. With the PDP, we're not sure who is going to run for the PDP, but we're seeing these nuances around Peter Obi, the ADC, maybe his article, we do not know. So what do you think is going on here? Do you think Peter Obi will eventually head back to the PDP, or because some members of the Labour Party say they don't want him?
The thing is, election, as we say, is a game of number, and the more the merrier. And Jonathan camp, PDP wooing Peter Obi, they know that since it's been zoned to the south, if Peter Obi should join them, maybe later Jonathan will just support, or he will support Jonathan and all of that. They need all the support they could get. And of course, start to be corrected. Some of their followers, a few of their followers, their psycho fans, it's just all about what they can get. So they don't mind to say, come, you see have that pedigree, come back here, we need you, come and support our agenda, because this is the party that have the structure on ground, so to say, or the largest opposition for now that can get you the number. So let's see how it plays out. Like Peter Obi has said, is for those who could, how will I say, is for those who are joining forces together to make sure they ask this present administration to give Nigerian a better deal, coming 2027.
All right, Ms. Adeni Ifetaya, thank you so much, as always, for bringing your expertise to the front pages of the dailies. We appreciate you, and safe trip.